Hi Vogue Philippines, it's your Filipina diva, icon, superstar, and global drag phenomenon, Marina Summers, and I'm gonna be showing you how I get in drag. Normally, it takes me 3 hours to get in drag if I have the luxury of time. Okay, first up, I'm gonna block my brows and my sideburns, just so we have a really good, clear, and flat canvas to start with. This is our best friend. This one, it's very light lang. So I put the glue against the grain of the brows. What I learned over the years is to leave this part without glue, just so I can move freely. Then I brush it upwards. So right now we are gonna set the glue down. This is my favorite one. It's the MAC Studio Fix Press Powder. And I like to use a shade that's my skin tone, just so it looks like, you know, there's no hair at all in the parts that we blocked. Get a generous amount. Now that we have blocked down the brows and the sideburns, we're ready to fix the base. We're gonna use the One Size Secure the Blur. I love using this especially because I put a lot of like thick foundation on my skin and it just helps it like really blur. Okay. For the base, I like to use 5 different shades of Kryolan TV Paint Stick. It's, I think, probably the holy grail for drag. So I like to start with my skin tone, the LO. I don't normally color correct because this is like full coverage and I don't need that extra layer. I start with the outer area of my face and slowly build it up with different shades. I start with a brush and then I'm gonna seal it later with a beauty blender. I loved makeup ever since. My first few encounters with makeup was actually me sneaking into my mom's bedroom, putting on makeup secretly before my school bus arrives. I think my mom was really like one of my biggest allies growing up. I think everyone deserves an environment that's really supportive, especially for queer kids. And that's a message to all parents, all guardians, all elders, brothers and sisters to, you know, be part of the nourishment of a queer kid because they will go far if you let them be themselves. I really do believe that we've come a long way in terms of like, you know, community building. Although we acknowledge, you know, all of the hard work that our community leaders have put and the people that walked before us, that's what's been taken away from us, you know. The education on queer history, queer community, so G-esque. But I am really, really happy that there are more venues for drag to flourish. I am one beneficiary of that. So right now I'm on the 3rd shade. I just did my base, my highlight, and now my contour. I like to concentrate it in this, just below the high point of my face, just to make that cheekbones pop. A lot of makeup tutorials out there will tell you what to do, but sometimes when you're in drag, some things just don't work for your face, for your skin tone, for your aesthetic. So you have to, yes, you have to watch them, but also just, you know, find what works for you. And back then, I didn't know I was gonna do drag full time, so I just had, you know, mostly drugstore makeup. As long as your blending is good, and you look pretty and you feel good with it, I mean, that's totally fine. It's just makeup. Okay, now we're gonna bring warmth right above the contour. A next step that I like to do is to put like a white shade of cream into the innermost points of my face. Because when you're in drag, you're painting for the light. You're painting for the spotlight. For me, I just like to put it in this area before I do my nose contour. That's the last one I'm gonna do, nose contour. What I love about drag makeup is you can take shortcuts. When I'm on tour and doing drag, I just normally use 3 shades of these. And I would rely on powder to reinforce, you know, colors on my face. Touring around the world has been one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Because when I'm touring, I also go out, I also watch drag because I'm a huge fan of drag. I love drag so much. I get to meet more drag queens out there. I get to meet a lot of drag artists and really be inspired by them. So for my contour, I like to start right below the end of my brows. Just so when I draw my brows, the contour is slowly blending to the eyebrows, which I think is a very clever way to do nose contour. So what we want to do in drag is to make everything thinner. So now we're gonna set the whole face before we bake and do the eye makeup. For the powder, I like to use the translucent powders from Laura Mercier. I've been using them for a couple of years now. They're just really, really good. We're gonna put a lot of powder because we want our makeup to last long, because especially for me, when I do drag, I'm in drag for like, I don't know, 7 hours. So you really wanna set everything in place. So I like to use this ivory kind of like light shade in the center. I know it's translucent, but I don't know, I just have this theory in my head that if I put more yellow toned translucent powder in my highlight points, it just messes up with the color story that we did earlier. And now I'm gonna put a more like tanned shade on the outer areas of my face. A lot of beading. When I do my makeup, I don't like people watching me. So this is a treat for you, Vogue Philippines, and to all of you watching. This is the first time that people are gonna see me doing my makeup. Because when I do my makeup, I'm just in my drag studio alone. A lot of people, when they bake, they just put white powder under their eye. What I like to use is parang pink. Okay, some girls like to start with brow cream, but for me, I like to start with the highlight. Because when you put white first and just like map out the shape of the brows. So that's what we're gonna do today. Using this dark brown, almost black, but still brown, cream from Kryolan. And now what I like to do is to start mapping out the upper part of the brows. And this white line would be our guide for the bottom of the brows. Okay, and now I'm gonna set it back with the powder. Bake this part. Okay, so now we're gonna be adding dimension to the brows by putting brow powder. So I'm gonna take this very precise angled brush in a very dark brown shade to start, and I'm gonna start from the outer corner of my brows going in, just to have that ombre effect. Now, using the same brush, I'm gonna get eyeshadow, brow powder. Next up, my favorite part of the makeup is putting on my eyeshadow. For the eye makeup, the shape that we're gonna be doing is a little bit slanted, and with my makeup I really like to go with a smoky effect but still precise with the cut crease. I always start my eyeshadow with like a transition and like a base color. I like to use an orange eyeshadow. What orange does is it adds warmth. I also use orange as a bronzer. We're gonna use the shadow applicator and go with a deep brown to map out the crease. So this eye shape that I do is like the standard Marina Summers eye shape, because I feel like that's the trademark eye contour for Marina. So it's just a matter of changing the color. Okay, now that we are able to map out the crease, we're gonna take a blending brush and dip it into a more lighter brown, more orangey brown, and just blend it. Now we're gonna take a deeper, almost black, get like a thin, flat brush and apply it to where you want to put your crease. And then using that same brush that we used for the dark brown, a few dabs, and help blend the darker shade. And then using flat angle brush, we're gonna go and apply black eyeshadow very, very thinly. We're just setting it with powder. Yeah, liquid concealer, and then you set it with an eyeshadow powder. And now what I like to do is bring in the warmth again, the outer and inner corner of the crease, just so we don't have blank white crease. As much as possible, I still want to make it smoky. So I like to take, again, the orange one and just slowly apply that inwards. Okay, now we're gonna put the eyeliner. I'm using the One Size Point Made Bodacious Black eyeliner from One Size. It's one of my favorites. So for my eye shape, I like to go heavy on the inner corner and the outer corner and like a really like sharp. So I like to follow the initial shape of our eye. Snatched. Now we are gonna put more darker shade of eyeshadow over here and then just extend that towards the like outer. Even just like putting this dark eyeshadow on the tail end of my eyeliner just makes a huge difference. Like if you can see, it's softer but still fierce, you know? You wanna paint for any angle. Like compared to this area, like there's a huge blank space, right? So when you do this, it just, you know, fill that space up when you do the side view. And when you're performing, you know, they can see every single angle. So you have to trick their eye. You have to give them the perfect illusion. Okay, now we are gonna line the waterline. The hardest part is getting on your makeup chair and picking up that first item for your makeup. Once I start putting on that first product, it just flows really naturally now. It's just like muscle memory now because I just like seeing the transformation. Okay, we're gonna start with the under eye makeup. The first thing I like to do is line my waterline up until the middle because we are gonna create an illusion in our inner corner just to match and proportionize the heavy eyeliner and big lashes. We want something lighter in the bottom part of the lashes. What I do is when I buff it out, I don't touch the parts where there's no eyeliner. So I like to go a tad bit lower. The iris blends with the eyeshadow, but when you have that one straight line that separates the iris from the lash line, it just makes your eye open up a little bit more. We are gonna go with the bronzer, blush, contour, highlighter, and finish the rest of the face. What I like to do is a technique or like a tip that I learned from doing makeup for 5 years. I like to start with like a very soft and fluffy brush, and I like to take an orange eyeshadow or like orange powder and just place that on top of the contour just to bring the warmth back. When you bring back the warmth first, you can already see the warmth and you don't have to find it in the contour. And just put that where the contour is. Now, we are gonna use the One Size Deep Trio Contour. I'm gonna use the two shades here and just combine them, create that shadow. You wanna make sure you put contour on your ears as well. And get a flat brush and use the lighter shade. And then I like to take that same brush that we used for the orange blush to get this lighter shade of contour. And just... Now for the blush, I'm gonna use the Rogue blush from Dior. I like it because it's pink, but the tone is like really warm, peachy. And I like peachy blush. So I've always loved using the Bullet lipsticks from MAC just because the formula is just, I don't know, it's just like perfect for lip syncing. It doesn't limit your lips from moving, and yeah, it doesn't look flat. I'm using Velvet Teddy. And then I put lip oil from Dior. Now, Marina has trademark beauty marks. And it just adds character to the whole look, you know. So I put one right here, and one right above the highlight, one below the eyeshadow, and then one. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ding! Okay, now lashes. Apply a mascara to our lashes because we want all the powders to be gone. These lashes are custom lashes by M1ss Jade So. It's the game changer. Lashes is the game changer. It just finishes the look. Lastly, you're not a drag queen if you're not using glitter. Are you even a drag queen if you're not using glitter? So I like to use these liquid glitter pens from Urban Decay. It's in the shade Glam Rock and Midnight Cowboy. The one is gold, the one is silver. The silver I use to highlight the crease and to highlight my nose. And this one I use to highlight on top of my highlighter powder. So I like to put like a little dot here. So when the light catches it, it just separates the crease from the eyeshadow. And we are done. We are ready to put on the hair, the accessories, the nails, the dress. But before that, we're gonna set the face. This is one of my recent discoveries when I was traveling a lot on tour. I picked this up from my good sister, Hannah Conda from Australia. She introduced me to the Kryolan Fixing Spray. It's just amazing. And now we are ready to get glammed. Yep. She's in the room, everybody. So this is the final look. I am wearing a beautiful gown by Myra CHUA and hair by Martha Amethyst and Gab Villegas. I feel like I'm ready for a red carpet. I feel like I'm ready to be the belle of the ball. This is the essence of Marina. Feminine, sexy, and gorgeous. Well, there we have it. I hope you like our time together, our little intimate time together. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye.